Hello, welcome to Engineer Training Program for Faculty of Mechanical Engineering. English for Mechanical Engineering, Unit 5, Flow. The first, you have to start with the contents. Firstly, heating system. Explaining how fluid move around the system using the flow chart. Present simple repetition of the movement. And secondly, electrical circuits, explaining how an electrical circuit works. General conditional if. The thirdly, cooling system, explaining how cooling system works. Describing everyday routine, present simple in routine, cooling system parts, fan, engines. Now we move on to vocabularies. Working groups. Which way does the water flow into the system? The draw around to show the direction of the flow. And now, guess and make your answer. Now we have the reading. Read the text. Check the directions of the door around in the 1.1. Solar water heaters. The banner parts of the system are water pipe, a solar water panel, a water tank, an inlet, a valve, and a shower head. The tank is opposed to the solar panel. Cold water enters the system through in the inlet. It then flows into the tank. From here, the water flows into the solar panel. The sun heats the water in the panel. The hot water rises and flows from the panel into the tank. In the tank, hot water stays at the top and cold water sinks to the bottom. When you open the valve, hot water flows from the tank through the valve to the shower head. Here, it finally leaves the system. Now check your answer. This way. And the sun hits the water in the panel. Now reading. What do these words refer to? The first, this word "it" in line 6 refer to cold water, and the word "here" in line 7 refer to tank. The word "here" line 16 refer to shower head, and the last one, the word "is" in line 16 refer to hot water. Reading. Draw the flow charts, putting these parts into correct order. We have a lot of parts here, and you have to arrange to make a correct order and correct answer. Now draw the flow charts, putting these parts into correct order. Check your answer. Cold water goes into the system. Cold water enters the water tank. Water goes from the tank to the panel. Water becomes warm in the panel. Warm water goes out of the panel. Warm water enters the water tank. The valve opens. Warm water flows to the shower. Now we move on to language. In this, you have to learn about the present simple tense. The water flows, moves into the tank, out of the tank. The water goes through the pipe. The water flows around the solar panel, and the water passes out the outlet from the inlet. The electrons flows goes around the circuits through the cables. You have to remember the ending sound S or ES. And native vocabularies. We have to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 words here. Around, from, into, out of, through, 2. And you have to choose the best picture for best vocabulary here. The first, label the diagram 1 to 6 with the preposition in the parts. First, into. Second, out of. Next, to. From. Through. Around. And we move on to vocabularies. Complete the table with the verbs in the parts. Enter, leave, rise, sing. And the same meaning, go up, the same meaning with rise. Go down, the same with sing. Go in or go into, the same meaning with enter. Go out or go out, the same meaning with leave. And complete the sentences with the correct form of verbs from the table in 6. The first, water, enters the house through the inlet pipe. Second, water leaves the solar panel through the outlet pipe. The third, when you hit the water in the tank, the hot water rises. Next, the last one, when you cool the air in the room, the cold air sinks. And go up, rise, go down, sink, go into, enter, go out of, leave. Heading system tag. And now we work in pair. Explain your system to your partner. Student A, turn to page 114. Student B, listen to the student A and other questions. Then draw a symbol diagram of his or her system. And explain your system to student A. You change your position. Now let's do it. And we move on to text. Continue. Student A explains one of these systems to student B. And listen to the student B and other questions. Then draw a symbol diagram of his or her system. You look at the pictures. Look at the system. Electrical circuits vocabularies. Do you know these electrical symbols? Label the circuit diagram with the words in the parts. Batteries, conductors, fuse, lamp, negative, positive, switch, terminal. And the first, lamp. Second, conductor. The third, negative. Fourth, batteries. 5, positive. 6, switch. 7th, terminal. And the last one is the fuse. And now we keep going with listening track 28. Listen and label diagram with the words in the parts. Okay, now listening.
Unit 5. Flow. Recording 28.
Right. Now let's look at this diagram of the circuit up here. Can you see it clearly? On the left here, you can see a solar panel. Okay? The solar panel collects the sunlight and changes it into electricity. And here, on the right, you can see 3 lamps. These 3 long things. Okay? And there, between the panel and the lamps, you can see a controller and a battery.
Excuse me, sir. Which one is the controller?
Well, the controller's at the top, okay? And of course the battery's at the bottom, here, below the controller. And finally, you can see some electrical cables, or wires. The cables run from the panel, through the controller, into the battery, and also into the lamps.
And now check your answer right now. The first is solar panel, and controller, and cables, and lamps. The last one is batteries. Now we move on to listening track 29. Listen and match the item with their specifications. Let's listen.
Unit 5. Recording 29.
Okay? So to summarize, here again, these are the main parts of the system. A 60-watt solar panel, a 5-amp controller, a 12-volt 100 ampere hours battery, and 3 12-volt 8-watt lamps.
Excuse me, what kind of electrical current is it?
It's a direct current, DC. Is that clear now?
Now check your answer. The first solar panel, 60 watt, controller, 5 amp. The battery, 12 volt and 100 hour per amp. Lamps, 12 volt, 8 watt. Electrical current is DC. And we move on to the text. Working pair, look again at the diagram in the 2.2, where the currents flow in the situations that are aroused. Situation 1, the sun shines, the lamps are on. Situation 2, the sun shines, the lamps are off. Situation 3, the sun doesn't shine, the lamps are on. And we need to the reading. Read the manual for solar panel and check your answer to point 4. How does the solar panel power system work? The panel converts the sun's energy into DC electric current. The current flows to the controller, then it can flow from the controller to the lamps, or it can flow from the controller into the batteries. The batteries store the electricity. The current can flow from the batteries into the lamp through the controller. If the sun shines, the DC current can flow from the panel through the controller and into the lamps. If the sun doesn't shine, the current can flow from the batteries through the controller and into the lamps. If the lamps are off, the current can flow from the panel through the controller and into the battery. The controller controls flow of the current. If the battery is full, the controller stops the flow from the panel into the battery. If the battery is empty, the controller stops and flow from the battery into the lamps. Okay, that's it. And now we move to the part of language. It's very familiar with the student. It is zero conditional. If the sun shines, the current flows from the panel. If the sun does not or doesn't shine, the current flows from the batteries. If the batteries is full, the current does flow into the batteries. If the lamps are not on, the current flows into the batteries. And we move into type. Working pair, how do you think the controller below work? Make note. And you have make note for yourself. Let's do it. And now we move into type. Complete the test explaining how the controller works. Choose the correct verb and use the correct form of the verb. And if the battery is full, switch A close. Then the current doesn't flow from the panel to the batteries. The controller short circuits the panel. If the battery is empty, switch B opens. Then the current doesn't flow from the battery to the lamps. And you have to try this week. Choose the correct answer. What are normal or advanced temperatures for these? And read it and try your best answer for this week. Now we move on to listening track 30 and check your answer.
Unit 5. Recording 30. 1.
Turn down that thermostat, please. The water's too hot for a shower. The correct temperature is about 60 degrees.
Fahrenheit.
No, Celsius, of course.
2.
This refrigerator is too cold. Turn the temperature up to about 4.5 degrees.
Fahrenheit?
No, that's too cold. 4.5 degrees Celsius.
3.
That freezer's too warm. Turn the temperature down to 0 degrees.
0 degrees Celsius?
No, that's too warm. 0 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the same as minus 18 degrees Celsius.
4.
Do you know the record for the coldest air temperature in the world?
No.
It's minus 89 degrees.
Fahrenheit?
No, Celsius.
Where is it?
In Antarctica.
5.
And the hottest temperature in the world. Do you know that?
No.
It's 136 degrees.
Celsius?
No, Fahrenheit.
Where is it?
In Libya.
6.
The car engine is too hot.
Why? What's the correct temperature?
About 110 degrees.
Is that Fahrenheit?
No, Celsius.
And now listen again and check your answer.
Unit 5. Recording 30. 1.
Turn down that thermostat, please. The water's too hot for a shower. The correct temperature is about 60 degrees.
Fahrenheit.
No, Celsius, of course.
2.
This refrigerator is too cold. Turn the temperature up to about 4.5 degrees.
Fahrenheit?
No, that's too cold. 4.5 degrees Celsius.
3.
That freezer's too warm. Turn the temperature down to 0 degrees.
0 degrees Celsius?
No, that's too warm. 0 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the same as minus 18 degrees Celsius.
4.
Do you know the record for the coldest air temperature in the world?
No.
It's minus 89 degrees.
Fahrenheit?
No, Celsius.
Where is it?
In Antarctica.
5.
And the hottest temperature in the world. Do you know that?
No.
It's 136 degrees.
Celsius?
No, Fahrenheit.
Where is it?
In Libya.
6.
The car engine is too hot.
Why? What's the correct temperature?
About 110 degrees.
Is that Fahrenheit?
No, Celsius.
Okay, and we move it to reading. Label the diagram with the words in the past. We have a lot of work here. Bottom hose, entrance, radiator, thermostat, top hose, water pump. And we have the example first, entrance, and thermostat, top hose, radiator, bottom hose, water pump. And moving to reading, read the text, check your answer to 3.2. Car cooling system. The entrance drives the water pump and the pump pushes the cold water around the entrance. This cools the entrance. At the same time, the water becomes hot. The water in the hot entrance is normally around 110 degrees Celsius. The hot water then passes through the thermostat. This controls the temperature of the entrance. From the thermostat, it flows through the top hose into the radiator. Here, a fan cools the water, and the cold water sinks to the bottom of the radiator. The cold water then leaves the radiator, is flowed along the bottom hose, passes through the pump, and enters the entrance again. And keep reading the cooling system, which the word in the text do this word refer to. Example, this line 6 refer to thermostat, and it line 7 refer to water. And here line 8 refer to radiator, and its line 10 refer to water. And now we speaking make two sentences. And the water pump push water around the engine. The thermostat controls the temperature of the water. The two hoses connect the radiator to the engine. The radiator cools the hot water from the engine. The fan blade blows air onto the radiator, and cold water sinks to the bottom of the radiator. Hot water rises to the top of the entrance. Water flows through the two hoses. And the torque working groups. This is the simple way to cool the hull in hot countries. How does this work? What happens at each stage? 1 to 11. It's very popular and very useful for your country if your country is very hot. And let's do it. And we continue with the writing. Complete the description of how the cooling system works with the verbs and the preposition in the past. We have the word cool, enter, flow, heat, leave, rise, sink, around, into, outer, through, to. And now let's complete the sentences. The pumps push cold water through the pipe to the top of the tower. Here, the water leaves the pipe through a small hose. It's like a cold shower. Hot air enters the tower. Through the air inlet, the shower of the cold water cools the air. The cold air then sinks to the bottom of the tower. The cold air enters the house, and then it flows out of the house and into the solar chimneys. The sun heats the chimneys, and the hot air rises. The hot air finally leaves the chimneys through the air outlet. And the content, listen and read.
Unit 5. Recording 31.
I work in the electronics workshop every Thursday and Friday.
When do you attend lectures?
Every Tuesday morning.
What do you do on Tuesday afternoons?
I do my practical work then.
That's it. And cooling system speaking. Work in bed, practice a dialogue, and make a dialogue with your partner. Let's do it speaking. And the cooling system speaking. Work in pairs, discuss with your own weekly schedule. And you talk with your partner, talk with your friend about your weekly schedule. It's very good for your speaking. And now, thank you for your attention. I hope you love it.